just want to welcome you all to our Beauty and Barber breakout room. Whether you work in the beauty and barber industry, whether you have hair or you brush your hair, or you brush your hair with you, right? The beauty and barber industry has an impact on all of us. And specifically here in Detroit, when we think about the population of Black Detroiters and Detroiters of color, we are primarily a city that is people of color, right? Black and BIPOC people. And so the market share that we seek to gain in the beauty and barber industry of that anticipated $4.9 billion by 2023 is big. And so I want to thank Dawn and the entire crew that has put this together. I was privileged to be a part of this in year one. I am honored to be asked back again by Dawn to just facilitate and be a part of this conversation. So I just, again, want to welcome you all as you come in to this session as we really begin to unpack and talk a little bit deeper about some of the things and concepts that were talked about earlier that specifically pertain to your industry and the power that we all behold in this industry. I want to also acknowledge legacy, right, in this room. And so there is Detroit legacy, there is, global legacy. We all have some type of legacy, but this conversation, as we all continue to build our legacy, is about the legacy of the Dudley family. And I'm just going to say, I was on the phone with Lily and Dawn the other day and CJ, and they were telling me about, hey, Liana, we're going to come have you moderate, and Mr. Dudley is going to be here, and Lily, okay, Lily, raise your hand, y'all know Lily. So Lily is on the phone telling me about Dudley. You could not have grown in Detroit as a young Black girl and not been in the salon. And my salon was in the basement. It was my mother's best friend who did our hair, and her Dudley sales rep came to the house, right? And so when we talk about accessing and how deep the legacy this was a legacy that said when we talk about engaging with community and going out and finding your customer, I can remember sitting there in that basement getting my hair done, and her Dudley rep would come and knock on the side door and came into the house. And that, when we talk about the power of community and of this industry and doing this work, I just want to thank you, Mr. Dudley, and your family. We all stand up here and tell stories about our experience and how Dudley was a part of our life, but maybe we didn't understand that we were encountering legacy at that moment. And so this is full circle for me to be here to stand next to a family that has meant so much to our community and continues to mean so much. So I just want to say thank you as we sit here and talk about that. Now, I had some bad experiences, okay? I remember that woman burned a whole section of my hair out, okay? I'm nothing to do with y'all, okay?
That ain't on her.
Talking too much, okay? Sometimes y'all have to focus, okay? Y'all talking, all right, to burn my whole edges out. So as I ground the intention for our session today, it's always good to do that, right? What are we here as a community to talk about? What do we want to do? What do we want to get from this experience? So we want to elevate the mindset and orientation around learning and growth. I think oftentimes in the beauty and barber industry, it can be taken for granted how much education you have gone through, right? The value of your experience behind that chair. And continuous learning. It's something in corporate America, Mr. Dudley, I'm sure you can speak to this, that, it's continuous learning. You're always learning about a new product, a new way of doing something, because you have to innovate. Well, we want to elevate the mind of the beauty and barber industry, that innovation is who you are. Hairstyles, putting a fan in a hairstyle, okay, if that's not innovation, I don't know what is, okay? All right, if you can't go to work today and your hair is this length and you go tomorrow and it's down your butt, what are you innovating, right? You are showing that there is creativity, there is genius in what we do, and it is not just something that is a nicety. It is a must-have in our life. We want to stress the importance of professionalism as we share real life experiences in the beauty and barber industry. The beauty and barber industry move a large dollar in this community. When we talk about how many times we go to the doctor compared to how many times we go get our hair done, put the doctor in the hairdresser, okay? Because we would see the doctor more often. We are in the hair salon. We are in the nail salon. We are getting our makeup done. We are getting our hair cut. We are getting our hair twisted, right? And so when we talk about the level of customer service and interaction that's happening in the beauty and barber industry, where more does it happen, right? Lean into resources and mentorship. As we think about growing and innovating and moving this industry forward, we have to lean into mentorship. We have to lean into being mentors. We have to lean into the expertise that we have that we can share, and we can continue to elevate this industry, not only here in Detroit, but globally. And then finally, building community together, uplifting each other in this industry, and empowering each other in this room. Industries are moved by collaboration, by partnership. I guarantee you the Dudley family will tell you about relationships and partnerships that help this company stay around long as it has been, right? That help it transition throughout its family and keep its ownership over the years. And when we talk about collaboration and partnership, these are important things that no matter whether you are behind the chair, you own a salon, you own a number of salons or barbershop, you are manufacturing or trying to manufacture products. Partnership, your community is so vitally important to shift in that industry. So what we're going to start with, as you see, we have two amazing panelists here, and I'm going to be helping to facilitate questions. CJ here is going to do an amazing job. CJ has a podcast, Let Us Become Sharper.
Yes.
He's the host of our podcast, and he is CJ Jones of CJ's Clippers. He's going to be broadcasting our discussion today, so there's going to be some taping. So mind your manners, folks. Okay, if you don't want it on the internet, don't do it. Don't say it today because it's going to be on today's podcast. And he's going to really facilitate and help co-facilitate to get this conversation to the place where it needs to be, to get us to talking about those concepts that I already talked about. And then we have Mr. W. He already has given a keynote. He's going to give us his time today to engage in this panel. So what we need from you is, as you're hearing, you heard from him earlier, what are your questions? You have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Dudley. This is your time to do it. And so I'll be walking around. If you have a question, we don't have a mic, I'll come to you and make sure that we can get your question asked. We just want to be mindful of time, and we want to make sure that we value his time and get it going. So CJ, I'm going to kick it off to you. I know you have some starting questions, and I'll be out in the audience gathering questions from others.
Okay. All right. Thank you. This microphone does not project. It's going into the metaverse here. So this microphone, if you can hear me, everybody. So first thing I want to say is, yes, I do have a podcast. Let Us Become Sharper is the name of it. And now that I'm sitting here, I want to just sit in the moment, swim in the moment. We got our questions set up, but I want to do this. First of all, my name is CJ. My name is Carl Jones. I come up in the barber world, okay? And as I rose in that barber world, as many of us here, barbers, stylists, professional product even, as I rose in that world, I rose up to that level where you want to do something better. You want to give more, you want to give back, you want to maximize all of these great things, you want to scale. So I began to say, well, just being honest, I'm fair as a barber. I'm all right. People can't, the humility. I'm all right. But I got a knack for learning how to work on the equipment. And if I'm stationary inside of a shop, learning the business and bragging about how good I can cut a head, I can take that knowledge out to the world and show everybody what I can do. That's how I came up with Let Us Become Sharper. I was challenged in the shop one day. A guy asked me, he said, we see people paying you. We see you coming around here collecting, but what is it that you really do outside of smiling and talking to all the ladies in the shop? What do you do? I said, well, I've been practicing and I've been honing my craft so good to work on the tools. I said, you don't even see my work, but I'm actually sharpening the equipment. That's where I got them at. That's my point of sale. As I sharpen the equipment, I provide equipment for retail. I'm coming in here really working. And I say, my job is to become sharper, not just sharpening the equipment, but also sharpening the mindset. Now, I was selected. I want to tell y'all something. Let me get comfortable here. I'm sitting next to a legend, so sometimes you got to understand that when you sit next to a legend, and I feel honored to sit next to you, bro. I just got to say that right now. Honored to sit next to you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, now, I was selected based on not cutting the head, not service. I was selected on my skills as far as sharpening and tuning the equipment. That's why I'm sitting here. And I want to say before we even get started, Miss Dawn is the one who handpicked me, who plucked me out and said, you coming with me. You coming with me. And I'm sitting here now, and as I look at her even sitting in front of me, I say, wow, I'm starting to see why I was selected to do this, to hold this position. So, I got here in my notes some questions that were actually written down by the panel. The panel that I'm a part of is the Beauty and Barber Association. Beauty and Barber Industry Association of Michigan. We got our we on the marquee, the moniker. And I want to be intentional about what it is that I do and say. Our intent is not just to, as we spoke earlier, to showcase skills, showcase talent. Our intent is to get people to understand that you have to seize the moment. You have to be able to scale your business. You have to be able to really take hold of professionalism. You have to be able to learn and grow and build that generational wealth, not only wealth, but that generational pride that it takes to really be successful in this world. That's what our intent is. That's why we meet at barbershops, we meet at restaurants, Zoom conferences. This is the purpose of our meeting, to really get an understanding of how we're going to really accomplish that goal. We have a goal set. And within that intention, we have a great panel, just me sitting here with the podcast aspect of it. But a member of our panel gave some great questions, some questions that need to be answered, some questions that should be explored. So what I'm going to do is I'm a flip-flop. I'm going to dive into these questions because these questions are key. And then I'm going to give you just a little more of my message. But right now we want to ask, and we want to ask somebody that know. How do you start a beauty school? They getting you on this mic, so I'm just gonna sit it right here for us.
All right, that sounds great, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Glad for that question you asked. My family has started at least over 20 beauty schools across the country throughout our years. The first beauty school was purchased in 1972 when things got really growing, and eventually kind of built out, but we really didn't get solidly in the school until 1988. We opened up our second school in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we were open up. So what does it take in order to build a school? The school is a very challenging enterprise, not only in terms of finding the right instructors, but also be able to recruit students to come in. So your challenge is really not just about starting, but how can you create a sustainable business that will last? Most people who are able to start in business, beauty school, don't always have enough capital to be secure enough to start getting loans, student loans. That tends to finance your business. If you get student loans, then you can charge tuition, $15,000, $20,000, because then the students can afford to do it. But if you don't get that, you can't really charge that. You got to charge $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 because people got to be able to finance it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard and challenging for everybody to financing on their own. They're very dependent on the student loans. So they call you up and say, do you do student loans? You say no, then it's going to be hard to pull it together. But you can if you create the right business model to work it. So it's not just about starting. You have to have a business model that fits who you are, fits your location, and you got to be able to work it. So your challenge now, if you are an experienced educator, or experienced stylist, and you got your own educator license, then that's a great foundation to be. So you want to be able to teach, and ideally you already had experience teaching because you actually know how students are. They may not be exactly as they were when you were a student. These kids keep changing and shifting and et cetera. So you got to really know how to manage the behavior of the students in the school, in the classroom, if you're going to expect success. So I've talked to a lot of people over the years. Many of them have started, and they only started out with 5 students or 10 students. That's a great way to start. It's great if you're able to start it in a location where you already have a salon. Now it may have to be partial off. That's strictly for the school. But then when it's time to do service, then it can go in a salon environment to be able to do that. That's probably the best way if you're going to start off small, 5 or 10. And so that's based on how much resources you have and who's going to be the educator. If you're going to be the educator, you can easily handle 5 to 10 students, maybe 20. And you build and grow as your ability to learn how to recruit, because that's your challenge. How do you recruit the student? There are people who want to get in the industry, but if they don't get the loan, they're coming to you and you got to be able to keep them. You can bring them in, you got to learn how to keep them. So sometimes it may take 4 or 5 years before you are solid enough to get student loans. Now, I have a friend who helps business school owners get started. And so she does an excellent job. She's actually goes to accreditation boards. She's an accreditation board evaluator. So she sees all different types of schools around. And so she coaches people on how to open up their school. And so anybody wants to know,
We need to
pepper
follow
share.
up that way.
All right.
We
Yeah.
make
She's
sure
got
we
a
get
hand
all
raised.
this.
Oh, yes, yes. She's a consultant, yes. And man, why can't I remember her name? It's in yeah, she's based in Atlanta, Georgia. And her name will come to me in a moment.
So I just want to kind of bring a couple things.
Yes.
I heard you talk about, you have your idea. We already have someone who started one. So if it's just you, you're going to be the educator. You're going to be the recruiter of the school. You're going to be the person looking for the funding for the school. You're going to be the person operating and running and doing all the back end things in the school. And so we have an expert here who's already doing it. So as you begin to think about these new ventures, these are all roles and positions and hats that you have to put on for your new business. BJ, before we go to your question, this young lady had another one.
Okay.
So are you talking, I think I hear you saying manufacturing and producing products, right?
Yeah.
And then supply chain in terms of actual hair.
All right.
Okay.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Fantastic. I used to have waves too. But a friend of mine just said, Joe, your hair will look so much better going back than forward. Because forward waves were the thing, but unfortunately my waves straightened out. So that's unfortunate. All right. I don't know the hair business like other people in my company know the hair business. So I don't know that. Yes, unfortunately, most of the resources are coming through China. They have it on lockdown. So there are different pockets of people who get access to hair for 2 or 3 years, and then something happens and they no longer have access. So I don't have the answer to that. In terms of, so that would be my answer for that. But it's challenging. In fact, I was just speaking to somebody about what they were going through in terms of getting here. I think you were sharing some experiences yourself, Deborah. And so things shift. But yeah, you really don't have a whole lot of choice. So, but you want to find somebody you partner with and collaboration with, and just realize they're looking for your money. They're not really looking to partner with you. Okay. So you just have to decide, okay, what are you going to choose to get access and allow you to build what you want out of your organization from that. So you can get access, you can buy it, and the more you're able to buy, the cheaper it will get. But that's kind of stuff.
So Dudley's obviously started with making products in the kitchen.
That is correct. Yeah.
And that in many cases with a lot of folks in this room is where they would start. But what about when they want to transition from the kitchen to some mass manufacturing? What does that look like?
Well, let's see. There are contract manufacturing companies that will take your recipe, your formula for your products, and make it for you. Some people call them co-packers, but contract manufacturing companies. Generally, they have a minimum for you to work with. Typically, it's like 500 or 1,000 units of what you're going to need for that. So you need to have enough capital to invest into it, and you can't always count on selling the product fast enough for the next order. And so a lot of companies don't want to deal with a lot of small, but that is your next step. So if you're making it at home and you're doing it and it's consuming, put your kids to work, put your neighbors to work, put your family members to work until you're able to afford to send out for contract manufacturing. So it'll be easier, but you also have to have the money and capital to do that. But there are plenty around. So generally, if you go online, put contract manufacturer for hair care and cosmetics in Michigan, you'll find different places around. They don't always are responsive because they prefer bigger players than smaller players. So you just have to see, and you typically on their website, they'll let you know what their minimum is. And then you'll be able to determine, is that a good fit for me or not? Pick 4 or 5 of them and then call that fits what you're feeling for, and then you can give them a call. But they'll be able to do it for you. Oh, the cream press. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, you want to order that direct. And and we didn't quite get it arrived today or at this moment, but I do have calendars on our Dudley brand, and it has the contact numbers, so you'll be able to call in and be able to order any products direct. Now you may find some of it on Amazon, but it's actually better if you call direct. Uh-huh.
I need to know people that are homeless and train them. Do I have to have a license to train them to be distributors? Or can you tell me how do I even do that? Because I don't.
Okay, I understand. Do you have to have a license? No, you do not. I'm not sure that's your best source for people. Now, there are people who are homeless who really know who already have a job, and they just are, living in their car. But if you're looking about the typical homeless, what they lack is discipline. If you're going to get somebody to distribute your product, you really need somebody who already has a certain level of self-discipline to be able to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to be turning over and over and over again. They're going to have your product and disappear. So I understand you want to help the homeless. I'm not sure. I mean, you may know them better, certain individuals, and there are always people, things fall out for 2 or 3 years. But the kind of work you're talking for them to do is really exerting themselves in a way that can keep them. You need somebody who can focus, to be consistent to do that. And so that's challenging when you're homeless. So no, you don't need a license to recruit anybody to help you. But your biggest thing, I think I talked about, like I said, my father would get all sorts of people to come in and do it, and it's sink and swim. And if you're willing to invest, $500 in a person, and if they walk away and you don't mind, then okay, give whoever you want. But if you can't afford to do that, then you've lost your time and your energy trying to train that person, and in 3 months they're gone. Versus selecting somebody who's more stable, who can support.
And they
what you want to do your business. I mean, now, if you make more money, you can donate to homeless people and support. That will be more, but you're in a place where you're building and growing your business. And until you've got real traction, real revenue, it's hard to build it on unstable people.
And could your, understanding that you want to have a mission-driven impact, which is really wonderful, as you grow and scale, maybe it could be with individuals who are in transitional housing, where there is a little bit of stability in that workforce. Now what you're doing is developing a workforce development program, which has another pot of money that you can begin to go access. And many of the shelters around here, the transitional housing facilities, provide individuals who have a little bit more stability as you're growing and scaling. Because what I hear Mr. W is saying, we don't want you to risk your business at this juncture, right? So how can you have your mission-driven impact happen to a population that may not be employed just yet? That could be an alternative for you. Great.
Great answer.
Let's all clap. Come on.
Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. All right, so I want to say this as we become sharper and we move right along. I want to say that we are incrementally building a trust. The universe will step in and it will engage us even in our logical, even in our rational. The universe takes its place for us as we step up incrementally, step by step, piece by piece. As I look at this question, the next one that I asked, you already answered the question. You already answered the question. The universe brought it to you before I could even read it. So, but I will go into this as we step into the next segment of talking to Mr. Dudley here. I want to know, do you know of a program that mentors people or future business owners? Anything that we could provide for people, right along those lines. Do you know of anything like that?
Well, I believe Detroit means business.
Hey.
Absolutely,
One-
absolutely, absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
Finding something local that's being supported that can give you hands-on connection.
That's right.
It's incredibly powerful.
Is important.
Okay.
Yes.
Because local support gives you a chance to be seen by others and for you to feel connected. More importantly, they have a mission to be able to support and encourage entrepreneurs like you at the stage that you are. And so they open doors for opportunities. In fact, there really are in many different cities, there are lots of programs, and they struggle to find qualified entrepreneurs who are willing to be able to be focused, actually have a plan, not just dreaming, but I mean, dreaming is important, imagination, but I'm saying, but doing the work along with the dream. That's who they want to be able to support. So those exist, exactly. Now, along with that is, my group, which is Dudley Eagles Mastermind Group. And so that is meant to be able to connect with entrepreneurs across the country and bring people together from different experiences to be able to inspire them, connect with them, and grow with them. And we have, lots of entrepreneurs who speak from different industries. And so it doesn't matter what industry track you're on, giving you access to some of our past recording and past listening, past learning. And so that provides great insight. We also provide some training, online training with some of the courses, which includes some of it built off of my book, What's My E-Style? Because when you go deeper and applying it, what you realize is not only do you want to be in the right business that fits you, you want to choose team members that are compatible with your personality as well. It is difficult to grow a business when you have people who aren't compatible with who you are. And so the E-Style is a great tool to learn about those people as well. So one of the great experiences I've had over the last 30 plus years is learning how to profile people in terms of who works best in a business and in what role. People are more happy and get more joy in their life and career when they're in a role that fits who they are versus in a role where they got to kind of stretch trying to do something that doesn't come naturally for them.
The most basic thing, you got to kind of stretch.
So learning that is one of the key things of elevating your ability to be a successful business owner, identifying, selecting, and attracting people to your organization and making sure they fit well. So using tools such as assessments help out a lot. We were introduced to assessments even when we were doing at least $10 million in business. And what we learned is without assessments, managers, employees are really get it right 1 out of 3 times. It's selecting the right person for the role that you have. And using assessments can move you up 80, 90%. And that wasn't even my personal experience because I interview people, 100 people a year for 15 years. And it was such a huge difference before I learned how to use assessments, after I used that, like, oh my God, made my life so much easier. And so it does make it a difference in terms of who you bring your team to meet who you are. So, I mean, that's one of the things we're built around in my mastermind group, along with learning how to finance your business, how to market your business, you know, some of the other things I spoke about today. So those are 2 groups.
Beautiful. We got a great guest on the panel today, don't we? We have a great guest. We had a great guest on the panel today. So I want to say this is it's a great contrast for me, being able to sit here and hear from what I would consider the master. It's a great contrast for me, but I do represent another half of the industry, like I stated before, within my personal business. So, you know, I'm gonna come at you with another question here, but I want to put the question out. I want to project it first. So when I went back from the panel, you know, and went into my own personal space as far as dealing with the industry, as far as going into the shops, I would go into the shops with my own 2 feet and I would submerge myself in their environments. I would see the inner workings of how they shop work on a Saturday. Not the days that, you know, the days they would present to you like a Monday is an off day or Tuesday's an early day in the week. No, I'm coming in there on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm coming up in there on Friday.
See how they're working.
I'm seeing how it works from the understanding. And when I was in a meeting on the panel, one of the words that was used is a big word. It was scale, you know, and Miss Dawn always uses this word. She uses it even out of context sometimes. She might just randomly say, scale. Scale your business. How do you scale your business? I took that information like a little birdie and I went back into these same environments, realizing that they didn't know what it meant. I said, yeah, so how are you scaling your business? They was like, well, I be getting up early, getting in the shit. No. How are you scaling your business? How do you scale it? Tell me now. And they couldn't answer. No shame to them. You know, it's not to their detriment. No shame to them. No shade to them. But I am the one who was hand selected to hear that this was a word that they did not know. I had a somewhat understanding of what it meant, but they hadn't even heard the word used in a sentence. No shade to them, no shade. So now that we have the master here, how do you scale your business?
All right, fantastic question.
Yeah. We becoming sharper now. We becoming sharper here. Let's go. How do you scale the business? Let's get it. I'm ready to listen.
I can understand why the young lady you're speaking about was excited about scale.
Yeah.
Because learning how to scale is a very important skill and a very important mindset of what it is to do. But what is scaling? Not everybody knows.
They didn't know.
PJ was sharing. All right. Scaling is in order to scale, you have to learn how to duplicate yourself. You have to learn how to duplicate yourself, what you do, and creating systems so that other people can run the business along with you. So my father always preached that your main job as the leader is to learn how to duplicate yourself and get you out of the job that you're currently doing. Okay? So that means you're picking people and you're training them with what you know so that they can learn to master it for themselves and find honor and joy in that role where they want to learn deeper. And that's how you multiply from it. That's how you expand from one beauty and barber supply store to a chain of 14.
Mhm.
You do that because he was already teaching people how to sell door to door and learning the skills of trade, learning how to speak to customers, how to have customer service, putting them in the roles and examples so they can see how to perform. Because the only way you can open up a multi-unit organization is because you train people who are willing to take on that responsibility and be able to do it. And not only just let them do it every month, every Monday night at 7 p.m., wherever these locations were throughout North Carolina, that to drive into Greensboro, North Carolina and have an operations meeting with my parents. My mother would primarily leave it to see, okay, what happened this week? How are you doing? Here's the new things you need to learn. And then my father would provide the motivation and encouragement and the challenge. So it's always about recruiting, teaching, and training people. It's the only way for you to scale. But along with people, you have to have systems so that everybody's not making it up as they go along. You can't duplicate things effectively to your standard without having systems. And so there's 7 systems of highly effective businesses. You know, that's one of the things I didn't get a chance to cover. But putting systems in your business along with training and recruiting and developing people is how you scale your business.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dudley, I want to say this to you. I'm coming in, becoming sharper as a podcast host. You slid past those 7. Where can we get the 7 available to us? Is it one of your books? Is it one of the seminars? Is it somewhere we should be looking to find those 7 steps? Because we need those.
All right. It is part of my training and the mastermind.
Okay.
And so I'll be happy to share that information with anybody here who wants that.
That's right. Okay. I just wanted to get that out there. Maybe make that clear.
Okay, we take your question?
Oh, but before I go, how did I answer that question?
You got it. Hey, you knocked it out the park. That's right. Yeah. It's a, yeah.
Right? You really made it complicated.
Yeah. The true definition of genius, making the complicated simple. That's right.
Now, I didn't want to. That you asked that question, you gave me 7 seconds. But with that being said, how do you manage tasks as you grow to the, as you've grown in business? Because I know that when it comes to, if you have more responsibility, it may be a little more harder to like manage your personal life and your business. So what does that look like for you? Like, how do you plan to manage life well in this?
Oh, fantastic. So if you run your own business, your goal cannot be, I want work-life balance. That cannot be your goal. If you are an employee, you have a better opportunity to have a balanced work-life balance. But as an entrepreneur, if you're not putting in 50, 60 hours, you really aren't making much traction unless you have systems in place and people already dedicated in place to run that business for you. Then you can run it 20 hours a week. And, there's a 4-hour weekend too. So it's really about what business model you have put together, who's on your team that allows you to be able to have life work balance. But you have to be very intentional about it and understand that if I want my business to scale and I want things that I've got to bring more people on my team that I've trained to do it the way that I want it to be done, and they have the capability to do it the way that I want it to be done. Otherwise, I got to be prepared to let them go and find somebody else. So it is, you go through people, but if you're more intentional about it, and sometimes the best way to have that is having a business coach who can help you look at the top and how you want to build it out and say, okay, you need person this role, to be able to do it. Because Many of us as entrepreneurs feel we can do it all by ourselves. And then we're burning ourselves out with 50, 60, 70, because you didn't put any systems in place. That's really the problem. It's not so much that you have to, you do more hours, than 40 anyway, because of your commitment, you love it. But if all you're doing is spinning your wheels, you're not creating any traction. So it's about people and the system that you put in place that allows you to be able to effectively live a better life.
All right, we putting Mr. Dudley to work today. We put him to work today. Y'all gonna get it. Y'all taking notes. Put systems in place. He's telling you to put systems in place. Now we're gonna go one more question. We're gonna go. This one here is gonna be a solid question. It's gonna be a hybrid, part Mr. Dudley question and part anybody out there who has the answer. We want to become sharper on this one. We want to give an opinion on booth rent, suite salons, and employee salon. We want to give the opinion. What is the opinion on that booth rent versus the suites versus the employee salon style setup? And I know that more product industry, but we want to give your take on it because you're a professional all across the board. So we want to hear that professionalism now.
Okay, all right. Well, my family has run commission salons
Absolutely
for many years. So we know that business, and obviously we serve people in the booth renting and also now in salon suites. I think each business can be great. It really is about who you are as a business owner. What do you want to accomplish? If all you want to be able to have is a salon where you have your chair and you don't really want to manage anybody, okay, then you have your choice to be in a suite or to be able to do booth rent. Now you can do booth rent and you can make the money on the rent, and that part is okay. It's less okay. I mean, if you're just leasing out the space and you don't own the building, you really haven't elevated yourself.
You haven't
too
scaled.
And have to learn how to be an investor.
That's right.
Right. So you're not really creating wealth.
That's right.
And unfortunately, in a lot of booth renting, if you don't select well, you will have a chaotic culture in your salon. So you're not able to manage and control it well. If you're able to have a more commission-based salon or with employees who may be on hourly pay, then you are selecting the people based on how well they fit in your environment, not just can they meet their, monthly rent pay each time. So it requires more work and more mental energy to invest in having a employee-based salon. But that's a reflection of what do you want to create in this world? And how do you want customers to feel and be in that environment and have that experience? So there are people who do it. They're just much more, so they're much more booth rent in the Black sphere than it is in the white sphere. Okay. And the truth is they make more money in the white salons than they do in the Black salon. Now, part of that is services, but we just want to do what's easy. And as long as you just want to do what's easy, you're never going to grow your skills in terms of working with people and managing people by being in a studio, in a suite, or just doing booth rent. But if that's all you want to accomplish, and that makes your life happy, because trust me, dealing with people can be a headache. All right. But that's where wealth and opportunity comes from. Learning how to deal with people, learning how to manage them. So you do want to build your own customer base. And I think every full-time stylist should have a customer base of at least 100 people. Because if you have 100 people, you can be booked out for the whole month. And you don't always have to hustle. But until you get 100, you actually do need to be working hard to recruit and get more customers to build in, and people follow you and do that. And so if that's what you want and build a salon, that's great. You've made good income and you're happy, and that's great. But if you want to build and grow and expand your skills, your abilities, and stretch out, then you can also do more on your own salon.
All right. Are y'all enjoying the words of the master? They enjoying the words of the master.
You have a question right here?
Couple questions. We got 2 questions. She got one.
A little louder, a little louder.
My name is Desiree Fisher. I also have a cosmetology student, and I would like to find out how
Okay. All right. How long have you owned your store? All right. Fantastic. And what's your monthly lease? Okay. Oh, well, that's great. That's great. How large is it? Okay. Okay. Okay, great, great. Do you own the building? All right. Who owns the building? Okay, you have a landlord. Okay, fine. So, obviously, your best bet in building assets is really buying that property. And when you are in a position to afford to do it, that would be best because you have a stable business and you need the rent. The rent is cheap. That's great. And you want to be able to find a way where you have first right of refusal to purchase the property. He may not be ready now, but if he knows you have an interest, maybe open. That's how you'll build it. And I don't know who's on the other side, but that's really your primary asset you can build. Now you have the school, which is great, and you've got students coming in. So your business itself is an asset, but you want to be able to get into other assets that make you money. So really, a school can be very consuming in terms of everything you got to do with it. So owning the property makes a great difference. So we're fortunate with our school in Chicago, we actually do own the property. And actually, that's the same for our school in Washington, D.C. We've had experiences where we were leasing out from different locations, but you really will advance so much better when you're able to own the building. So, okay. Well, that's your number one asset to buy. And so if you're going to move, I think that's great. And so it's now about negotiating and looking the right thing. It took us two years to move from one school in Chicago to the next school. And we were only moving because the city took over our spot. They wanted to put a fire station. But they helped us find a great location and a great deal. Actually, it was a former prison, former jail, I should say, that was built in like 1920. But it made it really solid, really good. And so even though they forced us to sell us, our building for like say 600,000, they gave us a deal on this property for 50,000. And it's 11,000 square feet. And you would never know there used to be a jail. Big transformation. But my mother loves those kind of projects. So, but that's a fortunate happenstance. The bottom line, find a building, find a property that you can buy and own. That's your number one asset. Okay? Great.
Evolved so much. My question to you is, not only salons, products, real estate, I mean, covered so many lanes. What has been the most lucrative? Now that you can look back, can you maybe possibly say, over the decades, products, the W product kind of has made me the most? Or can you say real estate, like when we thought products and our amazing hair products were king, we began to start seeing our real estate portfolio, even if it was the schools and the land you owned, still dealing with the beauty industry. Can you now kind of say, wow, this part of our portfolio has really paid off the most? And I would advise anybody in the beauty industry that knows you're going to have legs and different branches in this industry to focus. If I would have focused here a little more earlier, for what I see now, I kind of would have put a little more here.
Okay, great question. Excellent question. I've thought about these things for a bit. The truth is, no one thing is better than the other, not the way we built our business. One piece of the business helped us advance all of it at the same time. Okay? So really, our primary asset was our sales force and our people. That honestly is our primary asset. That's why building, training, developing them, because they're the ones who went out to sell the product. The products never sell themselves. Doesn't matter how great and fantastic you think your product is, if you don't have people who are motivated to go out and introduce your product to people over and over and over again and be able to develop relationships, like you said, see to have, that's where the real asset is. So lots of people make products, but they don't gain distribution because they don't learn the art of selling. And then marketing comes along with that. So the products open the doors, but the products accelerated more when we did education to professional stylists. So the education, which we did in hair seminars, is really the thing that and that's the marketing part, that introduced the product to more people. But it wasn't just the product. Products by themselves can be boring. I mean, you can have a product, but what we had was exciting styling on the stage, showing how the products can be used and showing their different skills, showing how to use the product to achieve this style. That's what got the people going, not just the product. And then from there, then we got into advanced education, where you're bringing people in to learn more. And that was a boost for it. We didn't make money on the advanced education directly. It didn't always pay for itself, but did it make people more loyal to us in terms of learning how to use more product? So we made the money up on the product.
Mhm.
So it was a synergy creation for it. So it's not one focus. And yes, we did have the real estate. And so the real estate didn't automatically pay for itself, but we were able to build on it, grow it, and have more value to go along with it. So sometimes there are years where your real estate will accelerate faster than what you're doing with your products and things. But unless you have a successful business, you really don't have
You don't
have the real
Yeah,
estate.
you don't have it. You don't have
Okay.
it either.
So for us, it was the synergy of all of that that created wealth, opportunities, and exposure of the people. But really, our primary asset was our sales team.
Last question to that. If they have a training course of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, how do you get them solid in selling the product or even stylists? How did they become, how long the training process did you give them?
Excellent. Yeah, it was let's call it 3 months. It was 4 weeks in-house at our headquarters.
They had to come out here no matter where they live.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, you bring a team in because they had to do this full time. Okay. And so, yeah, they got 4 weeks of intense training at the home office. Then we would send them out to 2 or 3 different professional, people around on the route so they could see what that business is like and get field training as well. Then we will set them up in their location and have another trainer come in to help them open and meet to do that. So you got to do that 3 months to get people solid and stick. Many times you might have 50% of people fall off at some time, and that's okay because you want to know how solid somebody's going to be before you really put them out.
Before you get
But
vested.
but just to say, hey, here's some products, go out and sell, is not a recipe for success. You got to have intensive, solid training in order to have a lasting distribution and sales force.
And just really quick, so they're coming and they're getting trained. Are they getting paid at the time?
Oh, yes, they are getting paid. They are getting paid. We had a philosophy, whatever you were making before, and we like you, we're going to make sure you get that for the next 3 to 6 months. But after that, then you're going to go on commission. But we're going to set you up so that you're in a market so you can make your money plus more. We want you to succeed. We don't want to tie you down. So that way you can make as much money. So at a certain point, you'll either make your money from commission or you got your check, whichever's the higher. So that's about having a mindset of being generous and a mindset of understanding of investing in people and things like that. You don't get something without giving something. Okay. You can't just like, well, people need to work. Well, you expect them to work, but you also have to reward them. You
Yeah,
have to engage them,
absolutely.
and you have to pick people who are motivated on being commission only. You can't pick somebody who's just used to just working in an office and getting their check, and because that creates a different mindset and lifestyle. You got to have somebody hungry enough and think, I want more. I want to be able to put more in, and I will put more in order to do that. So those are critical choices.
We got
Amen.
we got a young lady back there behind the wall struggling to get a question in. Let her let her get this question in right quick. Absolutely.
Like, they don't know for sure this is what they want to do. And if you're in your thirties, maybe they are a little bit more stable. If you're in their thirties, they kind of maybe want to already have their clientele, maybe they're in suites, and maybe they're not looking to be in a commission-based salon. So it's in the middle portion for me of finding the great fit for what we do, our mission, our goals, and our values, and finding that motivated person who also feels it's a lot in our community. And as we know, we have issues mentally, mindset. We have things going on with our children.
This is true.
Living situations that sometimes other races don't necessarily. And you can't control what they do. You can't control the decisions that they make. But as for me, with trying to build a brand and having that brand awareness, and I'm constantly bringing clients and people in, but the employees aren't living up to, I feel like, the standard or being there, or stuff is just happening. Like, what would you suggest that a person does in the middle of a business that's already being built, that's already branded, and maybe not, in that middle space?
Oh, great. Yes, you're trying to figure that out.
Space.
We live your experience.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. No, it's the same. It's because it's really about selecting the person. Okay. When I was hiring for the sales force, I only hire 5 out of 100 applicants. Okay. Because I'm really clear what it takes to be successful in the field. Just because somebody decided and they see all the money that these people are making, they want to be a part, they enthuse that, doesn't mean they have enough of the elements to sustain. So 5 out of 100. So that's one thing. Next is doing the personality assessment. So one assessment, so I actually do in hiring, there are 4 assessments. 4 assessments that I have people to complete to get a good 360 of who they are. And from that, when we got introduced to the business, we're already doing assessments. We're, already building and growing and doing. But like I said, you get it right only 1 out of 3 times without assessment. Once I started into that and seeing how it works, I just, in my own selection process, was able to move it up to 80 to 90%. And man, the difference in our organization was magnificent. We got people who can fit the right role and stay in the right role and be excited about it and doing it. Before, I'm having to manage people more, follow up with them. You told me you were a detailed person, and I put you in details. Well, I'm detailed to me. But when I was able to do the assessment, I saw they were average or below average, not at the high detail level I need. So the assessment allows me to eliminate people before I even bring them on board. So is it harder to sift through? Yes. is the payoff so much better when you have the right person? Oh, it's such a difference. It's such a difference. Yeah. And so, I mean, quick example. We had handheld computers in the 80s and the early 90s for our salespeople. And you needed we had a person come on board, had computer background experience, great young lady, great personality, totally detail oriented. But every week, my mother would complain to me, Joe, and sometimes these handhelds would break down. So you have to ship it out to 100 salespeople over, to say, why does the New York salesperson have the California salesperson's handheld with their information in it? She shipped it to the wrong people. Didn't do it one week. Every single week, it kept on happening. And I said, Joe, what are you doing? Why are you keeping this person? It's like, and once I did the assessment, I would say, oh, this person likes to talk to people. And since she ain't detail as oriented as that. So finally I was able to get a young lady who had just left the Army. And man, she was not as personable, but man, she was focused, detail oriented, and the assessment showed me that. It's like, oh, and I had to put the person in a different role. So I'm saying the assessments are what you need to be able to evaluate your team and be able to put. Now, I've worked with different business owners to do exactly that, to help them select a team that fits around you and what your values are and things like that. So that's something you and I can certainly speak on to help you staff your team the right way. I was fortunate to be doing some coaching and training with Victoria, with her team, did the full assessments on them, gave them the feedback, gave them the structure, did all of that. Victoria, can you share how that kind of impact was for your team?
For correcting, because they don't even know the difference. So our staff, and employees, we all took the assessment and it was all of it.
So for time, we have one, thank you, that was. Yep, we're gonna take the last two, because we love to get them all.
I know y'all are packed, Mr. Dudley. I'm taking him home if y'all
So we
could.
get Sharon, and then we'll get you, so we got like 1 minute.
Not yet, but I do plan to do so before the end of the year.
Are they
Oh,
on
well,
time?
if you like my voice, I'm happy to do that. No,
So we bound direct.
correct. Yeah, and you check with Victoria, and we'll make sure we do. Okay.
Right here, thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Of course, people are spending money left
For
and
sure.
right. It's amazing these different trends that happen. Even when people have like their blue, the blue one on their, on their middle finger or the third ring finger. So different things happen all the time. So yeah, it's a great. You just have to be able to find consistent customers and know you're competing with people who will do low cost as well. So it's a competitive, highly competitive environment. But if you get it right, it can be lucrative. So what's your concern? Or okay, sure.
All right, well, we want to thank Mr. Dudley for his time. We want to talk about dropping gems. He has just dropped so many and so much.
Thank you all.
And we don't leave just yet. We have Ms. Dawn coming up to share a little bit, so we're not done, but stick around as we have our closing out.
Well, great afternoon, everyone. All that's in this room, you know, because your business is important to you. Okay, and Mr. Dudley, we want to start with you. Thank you so much for your sacrifice and your time to come out and do this.
My pleasure.
This was I've been in the industry. I'm a barber. My business is shears and shaves, barbershop and spa in the community in the historical district of Livernois Avenue.
Avenue Fashion.
So 39 years as a barber, 33 in one location. 6 will be August behind the chair. So I came from behind the chair to in the business. And I thank God for DMB, Detroit Means
Yep.
Business. I was at Detroit Means
Gotta
Business
thank DMB.
advocate. I'm a small business owner advocate. Ebola Prime, that's what they call it. When we down in pandemic, I was selected to be from the mayor's office to be an Ebola Prime to help our industry and to see the pitfall. I opened up 7 months before pandemic. Shut down. Hard shut down. So I had to learn words like pain points, pivot, pricing, so and on and on and on. So just to let you all know the reason and why you're in this room and our mission is to help you navigate through all of that with all the tools of success that you need to scale your business, to level your business, to know how to hire. And you hit every point.
Yes.
Every point. Ms. Vicky, thank you. We thank the team. Can the team stand up? We are Michigan Barber Beauty Professional Alliance. So everyone can stand up. You can see who they are. They're working. They're all in the expertise, and we all just sit down, hash together, figure out. Part. Yes, I did pull on CJIS, but I prayed and asked God to put on this team, and He gave me these people. Lily was there from the beginning. When she came and I stepped in, it was just the grace of God. To be industry specific, to know the pain points, I advocate. I'm on the advocacy side. So those who don't have license or license lapse or whatever that looks like, we want to take the stigma off of that. We want to get them. I drove to Lansing to ask them to give amnesty. Do something, give them their dignity back. These are the ones that lapse license and those type of things. But for those who are in the industry owning your business and you're gonna have them come in, you wanna look into the apprenticeship program. There's so much, but your tools are in this room. The why for you is to stay connected. Stay connected to this group and you will get all the resources that you need to carry, not for yourself, but you're gonna have to distribute this out. One of the things that I said I want to retire empty, not die. I want to retire empty, giving everything to this industry that I have, maximizing it to the ultimate. So whatever your level, whatever you do, even with the nail salon, take it to the highest scale that you can. And the resources are in Detroit Means Business. It's in our alliance group. So you want to stay connected because we're giving you the business side of it. We're giving you the mindset side of it. You did with mental illness. You're dealing with e-commerce, everything you need. So stay connected. Tell somebody when you go to your salons, build your salon like Mr. Dudley said, sew it all. Sew it all. And I personally, I have retail. I do retail. So even with that being said and done, with the retail side, you have taxes to pay. Okay, so understanding all of those things that go on in your business. But I will get with you later for Dudley in my salon. And if you're in town anytime, I want you to stop by and see what we actually do on the Avenue of Fashion.
Beautiful shop. Beautiful. One of the best I've seen.
Really, as a Michigan Barber and Beauty Professional Association. So I'm just going to read a little bit so you can hear it. So our mission is empowering and uniting barber and beauty professionals to master their craft, maximize their income, and create sustainable wealth through education, mentorship, and business development. This association has 5 pillars. So we have empowerment and growth focus, empowering barber and beauty professionals with the knowledge, tools, and strategies to build thriving businesses, increase earnings, and secure long-term success in the industry. Financial and business success focus, support barber and beauty professionals master their craft, maximize their income, and create sustainable wealth through education, mentorship, financial strategies, professionalism, and business development. Education and continuous career advancement focus from students to seasoned professionals, guiding all beauty and barber entrepreneurs and turning their passion into profit and their vision into an implemented plan of action. Community collaboration and convening. The mission is to facilitate an inviting community within the beauty and barber industry where collaboration and creative exchange thrive. A shared space that welcomes conversations about triumph, pitfalls, amnesty, and continuous improvement. We aim to convene passionate professionals, brands, and clients, creating an inclusive space for innovation, growth, and shared success. And then finally, advocacy. We aspire to have open communication with elected officials, regulatory agencies, and other key stakeholders that influence the success and challenges in our industry, and communicate with barber and beauty professionals about compliance, regulatory best practices that advance the industry as a whole in the region. So we do have a call to action. We want to make sure that you stop by the table, that you sign up at I think it's this table right here, right by the door, to learn more and to keep in touch. This association can be doing all of these 5 things, but if you are not plugged into the information and reaching out and checking your email and responding to your text message, the information is really not helpful to you. So you have got to plug in. There are things that are changing on a dime right now, whether it is federal funding, whether it is access to resources, whether it's programs, and the beauty and barber industry needs to stay plugged into what's happening on a federal level. They have resources to share, a forthcoming newsletter, and events that uplift you in your business. And so everyone in this room, they want to make sure you know you are needed, you are important, and they want to make sure that you plug in. So as we close out, we want to invite any attendees to have any final questions or reflections as we shift. Again, we cannot thank Mr. Dudley enough for coming and sharing these wonderful jewels that he has.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is the table on your way out. There are books. If you have not gotten the books, get the books. There, go right to the website. What you getting is some of them charges. All right. And then make sure you just stay connected. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you and have a wonderful and blessed day.
Okay, before you go, let me answer your earlier question you had about the beauty school consultant. Her name is Amanda Manigault, and she's out of Atlanta, Georgia. You'll be able to find her on LinkedIn, but if you also put her name in, you ever say, and just let her know that I spoke about it. And if you want her number directly, you can ask me and I can share it with you as well. And just let her know. Her name is Amanda Manigault. Manigault.
You froze on that one, another bit it came to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do that.
We got a question on the panel right there.
Sure.
Oh, or you want to be here, and I just want to make sure you properly capture some of that. Ready for it?
This is Katrina from Google, the
That's
Google
all.
executive.
Let the national body hit us.
That's right there.
Believe me, I just pick a couple the opposite way and they are horrible.
So,
So let's all just.
She gonna get it right.
Yeah.
okay, turn around here, just real quick, everybody.
Free, stand in the middle.
Huddle. She's like,
Okay.
What's going on?
sure, everybody, like you just come in, Mr. Dudley, that's right.
Okay. Let's go on.